Oscars should be held only in the year where Hayley's Comet.
Hayley Mills?
Yes. No.
Not Hayley Mills.
Hayley Mills Comet. That's a new comet, too. That's very funny, Suzanne. I don't know if that was intentional, but that's funny. Hayley Mills Comet, yes. Hello again. We have another special topic with Suzanne Muldowney, and she's going to tell us about leap year and I guess many other things about leap year that we don't know. But before we start, Suzanne would like to thank some of our listeners who are constantly leaving compliments and sending questions for our viewer mail segment. So, Suzanne, would you thank the following people for their contributions to the podcast?
I'm sure they fictionalized their names, their code names. My thanks go to Duncan Frere, Artificial Banana, Lisa from Seattle. Well,
It's a DM.
DM film fan. Miss Jesting.
Destiny.
Kevin Lawbor. And Troy from a club, Fine-Footed?
Close enough. It's Trey, club effing-footed, but that's close enough.
We all have our interesting
that's
internet
interesting
names.
name. We're not going to fully read it, but those are your frequent contributors to the podcast who are always sending questions, asking about you, sending you well wishes and compliments and so on. So I figured it would be nice to mention. So let's talk about a leap year, Suzanne. What are you going to tell us about leap year? What's important about a leap year?
Some people think, why do we have them? What are their significance and how do they come to be? Well, the magic date is behind us now, but February 29th occurs only once every 4 years, and that's considered leap year day. Now, we're all taught that it takes the Earth 365 days to orbit the Sun, but actually, it's 365 and a quarter days.
Okay. We have billboards, boards of some sorts, all prepared. So each number is 365 and a quarter, 4 times. Okay.
So see, each year we get 365 and a quarter days. The quarter days add up. Can you see? Look what happens at the end of the 4th round.
There's another quarter.
I know from middle school math, 4 quarters.
Yeah. So what happens is
You know, open this way?
to get caught up on the accumulation of quarter days, and understanding that we add the 4 quarters together, and it makes 1.
Oh, okay.
Then we add that 1 to
You want me to do
the
it?
customary 365.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's backwards, but okay, so I'll do it for you. You want me to do it, Suzanne?
I can do it.
You think you can do it? All right. So we have 366 for the 4th one. Yes, that's, was this inspired by Ross Perot?
What?
Do you remember Ross Perot when he used to write those charts? You remember Ross Perot?
No.
No? Okay, never mind.
All I know is they're charging me an extra day of taxes that day.
That's right. See? All right, so that's what you're telling us, that there's 4 years, and then at the end of the 4th, we have to add a year to catch up because the numbers don't really add up to even numbers. It's 365 and a quarter.
I have a question for you, Suzanne. Some people online were suggesting, instead of doing this way, we have 13 months. I think it's of 4 weeks each. And then I think there's an extra week, or sorry, an extra month in there. The extra month, some people think should be distributed throughout as interim weeks, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, if it's 13 months of 4 weeks each, it still adds up to 52 weeks, the number of weeks in the standard calendar year.
How about if we just switch to Mayan calendar instead?
What? Excuse me?
Mayan calendar was more accurate.
Nobody can do that math. That's millions of years.
Now,
I can put a little...
good. Okay. Now, I'd like to mention, because leap year occurs only once every 4 years, on February 29th being the crucial day, I want to cite some instances of organizations or groups deliberately rising to the occasion. They took advantage of February 29th to stage something really special. In 1940, on February 29th, the Oscars were held, and that was the one in which Hattie McDaniel, who played one of the chief black maids in the film Gone with the Wind, was the first black actress to win an Oscar. She won Best Supporting Actress.
That is correct.
On February 29, 1988, there was an in-depth TV program about Superman in conjunction with his 50th anniversary.
Really, that's an interesting fact.
In 1992, an aquarium opened in Camden, New Jersey.
That's a good aquarium, too.
Leap year, yes, and that's probably the only place where sharks are afraid to leave.
I beg your pardon?
I'm thinking that's the only place where sharks are afraid to leave.
Why would they be afraid to leave?
I don't know. It's a rough neighborhood.
And then in 2004, again, the excuse to have the Oscars.
Wow. Tax dollars.
I would argue that Oscars should be held only in the year where Halley's Comet.
Hayley Mills?
Yes. No.
Not Hayley Mills.
Hayley Mills Comet. That's a new comet, too. That's very funny, Suzanne. I don't know if that was intentional, but that's funny. Hayley Mills Comet, yes, that's a new one. I think it's such a riveting show. They should do it every 76 years. But anyway, that's okay. Good one.
Okay, now there are also some events held every 4 years, and they're deliberately held during leap years.
What would that be? What would that be?
Well, one involves the whole world.
Oh, you want to tell us about it?
The Summer Olympics.
Yes.
1992 was the last leap year in which both the Winter and the Summer Olympics were held the same year. But then in 1994, you got this breakup of 1994 was winter, then 1996 summer, 1998 winter, 2000 summer, and so on.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that people still care about the Olympics?
What about the Olympics?
Do people still care about them?
Oh, I'm sure they do.
I don't know.
Now, how do we... I think now I should explain, how does any given year become a leap year? Which years specifically get to be leap years?
No, we have another chart coming.
In order for a year to be a leap year, its last two digits must be a multiple of 4. And here, see, every leap year has to have its last two digits copy one of these double-digit sets. You start with 0, you plus 4, you have 4, plus 4, you have 8, plus 4, you have 12, plus 4, you have 16, and so on.
So if you were born in 1900 on February 29th, in the year 2000, you'd be only 32 or something like that? So 24?
No, you'd still be 100 calendar years old. It's just that people born on February 29th have to celebrate their other birthdays either February 28th or March 1st until the next leap year comes around.
Well, what if you just refuse and you say, I'm going to celebrate,
It seems like you should get that bonus. Those bonus years.
It'll be like the dog years. You get 4 for 1. You stay younger that way.
There's no way you can prevent yourself from growing and aging naturally.
Even if you're bad at math? Even if you're bad at math? It's a joke. I understand. Yep. You can't fix that. Yes.
Okay, let's take a good look again.
Yes, there are quite a few numbers there. How many numbers are that altogether? We have 9 in each column, except for one's got 8. So that's 27. So 27 in the century, or 26 if you don't count zeros.
What do you mean?
Well, how many leap years in a century? It looks like 26.
25.
25? You don't count the zeros.
25, that makes sense.
Okay, 25 times 4,
thing,
100?
yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
All right, that makes sense.
it's so much
25.
easier now.
Yes. Okay, so
And another way to define a leap year is to take the year in question, divide it by 4, and make sure you don't have any leftovers.
So if you have a remainder, it's not a leap year.
What?
So if you have a remainder left over, it's not a leap year.
That's right.
Okay.
So if to make it simpler for little kids, if you have a pizza and you cut it in 4 and you don't have any leftovers, that's a leap year.
Or it's a way to illustrate you. You may have several pizzas, maybe about this big, probably 4, and then beside each one of them you put another quarter pizza to indicate the extra quarter day, and then the kids would take those quarter slices and put them together to make the 5th pizza with the 5th date, which adds up and makes up the leap year.
I feel like we're stealing from the people that were born on that leap years because they get that little slice of pizza.
Yeah,
That tiny little
you get a quarter.
1/365th of pizza.
That would be too messy.
Yes. Yeah, we need a sharp knife.
You need an electron microscope to cut it.
All right. Well, what else is interesting about a leap year? Do we have any other facts on your chart on the list here? Or did we cover everything?
No, this is everything we just covered.
Okay.
As 2 other interviews I had to make sure to have all the material I wanted, so I put it down here.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we'll do this again in 4 years.
I'm not quite sure why they call it a leap year.
Because you add the quarter days, add the 1 to the 365. Whoop!
And you're leaping.
Yeah.
Sounds like jumping the shark to me.
Or like a frog. All right. Well,
Yeah.
Thank you, Suzanne, for explaining that to us, and for anybody else who didn't really know about all these details connected to the leap year.
Yeah.
And this was a leap year. We just missed February 29th, but only by a few days. So I think it's still fresh, and people learned something about this year.
Some people are still celebrating their birthdays.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm sure that, we focus leap year celebrations on February 29th, but then we still have 5/6 of the year to go.
And sometimes 5/6.
Because considering that the Summer Olympics, yes, the Summer Olympics involve the whole world, and then something else that always happens during a leap year affects just this country.
Which is what?
Electing the next president.
Well, I'm sure other places have elections in the same year, just by accident or coincidence. But yes, you're correct. The presidential elections, if you want to call them that.
The U.S. presidential elections and the Summer Olympics always take place during leap years.
Yes.
In case you forget.
Are you pro-doping or anti-doping for the Olympics and the elections?
What do you mean?
Well, a lot of competitors take substances to make them better at the Olympics. So I'm saying, are you pro that or are you against it?
Enhancement performance substances.
During the Olympics, some people get caught cheating to take extra chemicals, sort of substances.
Right. Oh, yes, I've heard about that. Well, that's because, this country especially puts too much pressure on winning medals and then winning only the gold medals at that.
Mm-hmm.
Or other people who push for perfection or trying to convince their peers and the athletes and the whole country we're number one.
And how do you feel about a person? How about the person who comes in last?
I'm sure he feels awfully depressed because he trains so hard, and then other people surpass him. He feels very embarrassed and ashamed.
Because you can achieve the same result by not training at all. Like if that person didn't do any work at all, still will come in last.
You mean he's empty-handed?
Well, I mean, you still finish last. So you could have been donuts for 4 years instead of training and still come in last.
But you do get a trip overseas.
That's right. Maybe.
Depending on where the Olympics
So do you feel that it's wrong just to emphasize the number one place, the first place?
The Peace Corps?
No. Talking about the Olympics. So you said there's too much emphasis on being number one.
Yes.
So do you think that that's wrong? Maybe we should emphasize number 5.
Should everyone get a trophy?
I'm sure that, the medalists have their medals, but I'm sure the other people get a certificate or some token of appreciation for having participated.
I mean, I think you do get all sorts of swag for being there.
Yeah. But you just don't like only the winners being pushed in the front. Only the winner gets to be on a Wheaties box or something. Right?
Yeah. See, whoever said that participation and not winning counts really has to see the other side of the coin, because only the winners get their names in the newspapers, made VIPs and heroes by their peers, and or go as far as to do commercials or guest spots on regular television programs.
Is there a happy medium between celebrating just the winner and the opposite of that, which is that everybody gets their trophy? Is there something in the middle that you would like better?
I don't know if anything else. I don't know if a middle thing does exist.
I have an idea. There are the 3 tiers normally. You get your gold, your silver, and your bronze, right?
Yes.
what if we made a giant pyramid so that those people get the top 3 spots, but everybody else gets a spot all the way down the pyramid?
Well, they kind of do.
And you have to hold on to the rail, because otherwise, if you're gold medalist, you could fall and really hurt yourself.
They have a pretty high podium.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best system we have, I guess, right? The winner gets the medal, and that's the way it is.
To the victor belongs the spoils.
Yes, that seems to be, since the ancient times, that's the way it works. All right. Well, thank you, Suzanne, for this lovely instructional episode.
Yeah.
And we learned a lot.
If I remember how to do division, I will know now how to do leap years.
All right. Thank you, Suzanne.